Hello everyone, in this guide I will show you a powerful soul beast build that offers very high sustain and damage, and it can be used for all PvE game modes. Whether you are working on progressing your account with stories, masteries and collections, or you want to use it for group content like Fractals and Strikes for example, this build will work very well in all of those situations. I will now show you the main setup for the build, and at the end I will show you other options that will help you do much more damage when you have other healers with you in the party to keep you alive. For the armor, we are using a full set of Celestial with Trapper runes, and then a Viper dagger and torch with Sigil of Malice and Sigil of Earth. And we have a Viper axe with a Settler Warhorn with Sigil of Cleansing and Sigil of Leeching. We will use a Relic of the Fractal, and the trinkets will be a full set of Celestial. You will find the build link below in the description with all the details, and I will also include other cheaper and easier to get options for gear if any of that was hard for you to get. For the traits, we have Nature Magic 2, 3, 3, and then Wilderness Survival 2, 1, 3, and Soul Beast 3, 3, 3. For the utility skills, we have Bear Stance and Vulture Stance, and then Viper's Nest and Stone Spirit, and your elite strength of the pack. The food we will use is the koi cake, and the utility is the magnanimous tuning crystal. Your main pet will be the forest spider, and the secondary pet is the blue moa. I will leave wiki links in the description below that will show you the location of the pets and where to get them from. Now let's explain how this build works. Regeneration will be one of the main sources for healing, and it will work very well with this build because you will have a decent amount of healing power. From this trait, we will apply regeneration when we use our beast skill, which is the F2 one if you have the pet out, and if you go to Soul Beast mode, that will be your F3. You will also apply regeneration when you use your healing skill, and on top of that you will get extra healing power, and from this trait your Warhorn skills, both of them will apply regeneration, and you will get extra healing from your regeneration, and then from Lingering Magic, your regeneration will apply more healing by 20%, and you will gain 240 concentration. So all of this combined will give you a lot of regeneration and a lot of passive heals from it. And from this trait, as long as you have regeneration, you will take 5% less damage, and you will gain extra regeneration if you are inflicted by bleeding, poison, or burning. Another very good source of passive heals will be the Rugged Growth trait, which will give you heals every second when you have protection. The Grandmaster trait in Nature Magic will make your beast skills apply protection and vigor, and on top of that, it will give you a very big burst of heal. Companion's Defense will give you protection every time you dodge, you and your pet, and the Natural Vigor trait will help you dodge 25% more. So they will both work very well together. And then from this trait, when you go to your Soul Beast mode, you will apply protection and vigor. Stone Spirit will also give you a very decent amount of protection. And the last source will be the Blue Moa pet, which will give you protection by default from the pet itself, and it will give you extra protection because of the Grandmaster trait. Another very good source of heal will be your poison, because from this trait, when you apply poison to enemies, you will apply extra damage to them because you will siphon health, and you will heal yourself. So this trait will keep you alive and do extra damage at the same time. From this Grandmaster trait, it will make your beast skills apply poison, and from the spider, which is our main pet, your F2 skill will also apply poison by default. On top of that, all of your dagger skills will apply poison. Vulture Stance will apply poison with your attacks by default, and Viper's Nest will trigger a trap around you that will keep pulsing poison. This Grandmaster trait will also make your poison apply 25% more damage. So overall, poison is going to be incredibly important with this build. Also, this trait is going to increase your condition damage by 120, and because we are running a dagger and torch, we will get an extra 120, so in total you will get an extra 240 condition damage. It will also reduce the cooldown on your torch and dagger skills. And then Furious Strength will increase your damage by 10% anytime you have Fury, and you will get that from your elite skill and your Warhorn 5, so you'll have a good uptime of Fury, and the Grandmaster trait will make you do 10% more damage, and your condition duration will increase by 10% anytime you are fighting enemies that will have less percentage health than you. And that will be pretty much most of the time, because you will be at full health 99% of the time. Now let's explain how to use the build. The main pet we will use, as I mentioned, will be the spider. Once you start the fight, the first thing you want to do is use all of your utility skills except your heal. This will give you a lot of stability, fury, and swiftness. And don't forget that fury will help you do more damage because of this trait. Stone Spirit will give you a lot of protection, which will help you a lot with the heals from this trait. Viper's Nest will apply a lot of poison, and Vulture Vulture stance will apply even more poison and it will give you a very decent amount of might. And this will work very well with this trait, which will help you do a lot of damage and also siphon health. Your Bear stance will only be used when you need the heals or the cleanses because it's very good for both. As for your weapons, Dagger Torch is your main weapon whenever you want to do some damage, and you will use all of them. All of the skills here are very good. And when you are fighting multiple mobs at the same time, or you need the extra sustain, switch to your Axe Warhorn. This will proc the two sigils we have, is a cleansing and leeching, so it will already give you some decent sustain. On top of that, your Warhorn skills will apply regeneration because of this trait, and don't forget that regeneration with this build will be very strong and it will apply extra heals. All of your axe skills are very good whenever you are handling multiple mobs because it will bounce between them and do some AoE damage. Also, every few seconds you can go to your Soulbeast mode, and when you are on your spider, Primal Cry will do a lot of damage, and you have also Poison Gas which will do extra poison, and your F1 will immobilize which will help you break bar. Another thing you can do when you find yourself in need of sustain is switch to your Moa. It will pull a little bit of aggro from you, but also your F2 skill will apply some extra protection and healing. And if you go to your beast mode when you have your Moa, your skill F3 Unflinching Fortitude will make you completely invulnerable and it will remove CCs and stun break. And your F1 will apply an extra heal if needed. And if you needed some CCs and break bar, you can take Spike Trap instead of Viper's Nest. If you need stun breaks, you can take Quickening Zephyr. This will not only break stun, but it will also apply quickness and super speed. Another good option for stun break is Dolly Extends. This will provide stability and remove immobilize, shield and cripple on top of the stability, and it will also reduce the damage by 33%. So this is a very good defensive stun break option, and Quickening Zephyr is a very good offensive stun break option. Now let me show you other options that will help you do a lot more damage when you have healers with you in the party, like for example when you are doing strike missions and fractals. The first change will be remove nature magic and put skirmishing instead. And from here we will have 1, 3, 3. This will make you apply a lot more bleeding with your critical hits, and it will also make your bleeding apply even more damage. And don't forget that you will apply a very decent amount of bleeding from your dagger skills, and the Grandmaster trait is going to give you an extra 15% critical chance and increase your ferocity by 250 anytime you have fury, which will be something you will have most of the time in group content because of the support you will have in the party. Hunter's Tactics is a very important trait. You can do 15% more damage and an extra 10% critical chance if you manage to hit enemies from the flank. So if you are just hitting enemies from the front like this, you will not benefit from this trait. But if you just move slightly to the left, for example, or slightly to the right and try to hit from the flank, you will benefit from the trait. We will also change the adapt trait here and we will make it the bottom one, which will increase your vitality and expertise. And in Soulbeast, we will make it 2, 3, 3. And that's because when you want to do more damage, you will basically be in beast mode all the time. And so this trait will work better with you this way. Another change we can do here will be in your utility skills. Entangle will help you do more damage, but on top of that you will have Sharpening Stones, which will make your next 10 attacks apply extra bleeding. And remember, from this trait your bleeding will apply extra 33% damage. Spike Trap will also apply some extra bleeding, but is also very good for breaking bar and CCs. And your heal here is not very important, it can be anything. But just remember to constantly be in your beast mode in group content, for example like strike missions and fractals, because this will help you do more damage. And so you will use the build pretty much the same way. Just use all of your Dagger Torch skills, use your F3 and your F2, they will both be very good here, and then use all of your utility skills and just save your heal whenever you need it. There are a couple more options here we can have based on the situation. If you needed stability for you and the group, you can have Dolly Extends, and in that case we will remove Vulture Stance and put Dolly Extends. This can be very useful in situations, for example like the Chaos Fractal and the Bone Skinner strike mission. If you needed more CCs, we can have Storm Spirit, and from here we will get an extra daze when we activate the skill, which will help with breaking bar. Another change we can do for CCs, we can remove the Moa and put the Rock Gazelle instead. The F2 skill from here is going to be very good for breaking bar, and you will have another CC when you go into beast mode from your F2. Also, if you already have a Viper set, or maybe it's easy for you to get an extra one, this can be very useful for group content like raids and strike missions. If you found this guide helpful, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like to see more build guides in the future. And if you have any questions or anything was not clear, please feel free to ask in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed this build as much as I enjoyed making it. I will now leave you with some footage for this build in action. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you in the next guide.